Hi there, welcome to this video where I'm going to show you how you can use the ElevenLabs API within your Bubble application to create some really great text-to-speech within your Bubble application. ElevenLabs is one of the best text-to-speech providers out there, really great AI tool, and I'm going to show you exactly how you can implement it just like this. So we can type in here, hello, this is a test piece of text showing ElevenLabs and Bubble. And then we can click generate. It'll take a second or two. And then we can click play and we will hear it.
Hello there. This is a test piece of text showing ElevenLabs and Bubble.
And there you go. Pretty good text-to-speech with one of the best AI tools at the moment, ElevenLabs for text-to-speech. So let's get right into how you can do the same and implement this into your Bubble app. Okay, so we're in our editor within Bubble. And as you can see here, we've just got a very simple page with a title and a little subtitle, a multi-line input, and a button. We do not have any workflows or anything. It's just, blank. So the first thing that we're going to want to do is to set up the API with ElevenLabs. So if we go to the left-hand side, go into plugins, make sure we've got the API connector plugin installed, then we can set up the API. So if we click add another API, I'm going to call this one ElevenLabs. And then we want to set up some shared headers. So this one isn't absolutely crucial, but we're going to put it in anyway. In fact, that's what I'm going to be in here. We want content type, and in value, we want application/JSON. Technically, we don't need this anymore in Bubble, but in case you're running off an old version of Bubble, it's always good to include this just in case. Then we're going to include the API key in the header as well. So we want to type in xi-API-key, and then we need to get our API key. So this is where we need to create our account with ElevenLabs. Just search elevenlabs.io and you'll come here and you can create an account. I think there's a free version where you can create an account for free and you get a certain amount of credits. Then when you have signed in and created your account, if you come over to the bottom left and click on your profile and click on API keys, you can then create a new API key. I'm going to create a new one. Formidable Sri Lankan leopard. Yeah, that's fine. I guess we'll just call it that. So we'll create that API key, get this API key, copy it, and come back over to Bubble and paste it in there. We don't need to add bearer or anything in front of it. That's fine how it is. Now we can create the actual call itself. So let's expand this and let's call it get audio. This is going to be an action, as we want to be able to fire it as an action rather than just as get data. And the data type that it's going to return with is going to be a file, and we're going to have it as a post event. So now this is where we need the endpoint for the API. So if we go to the documentation on ElevenLabs, we can see over here that this, for the basic text-to-speech API, this is the endpoint here. And I'm going to copy and paste this. I'll also put it in the description. And you can see that what it is a very simple endpoint, but on the end, it's got the voice ID. So I'm just going to copy everything up to the voice ID to begin with. Again, I'll put this in the comments, in the description, so you can just copy it from there. Come across and put that into the part here where we want to put the endpoint. Then we need the voice ID. So if we go over to ElevenLabs, we can close that. And now we're going to select our voice. So if we go over to voices on the left-hand side, we've got the library of different voices we can choose. And you can go through these and you can have a listen to different ones and see which one you want to use. You can even create clones of your own voice, which can be quite cool to do. I'm going to find one that I've used before. I quite like Julian. It's quite dramatic, but it's a good one to use. I'm going to click on this thing on the side, which is the view panel. Come down to ID, click that, and it will copy the ID to my dashboard. To my clipboard. Come back here and paste that afterwards, and now I've got this ID after the text-to-speech. If we look at the API reference, we can see that that now is correct with our voice ID afterwards. So all we need to do now is create a new parameter, and we're going to call this parameter text. And then in here, we're going to enter some test text. So let's go with the classic hello world, and I'm going to make this not private so we can access it from the action that we create from it. And that should be the API set up. Let's see if I've made any mistakes. So let's see if it works. We're going to initialize it. There we go. It's come back and I can click preview. If I click preview, it's going to open up and it's going to play.
Hello world.
And there you go. So Now let's work this into the workflow. So we've got our API, which is now working. If we come back over to this page here, so we've got the input set up, we've got the generate button there. What I'm going to do now is create a new group. I'm going to drop this in here. And I'm going to call this output group. And I'm going to make it of type file. And I'm going to leave it blank for now. That's fine. And let me just make it full width. Now we're going to need another plugin. I've already got it installed, but you're going to need custom audio player. You're going to need to install this. It is free. I think it's by Zero Code, I think. But anyway, the one that looks like this, custom audio player, but really most audio players will do. They all do basically the same thing. But what we're going to do with this one is now come over and search for custom audio player, drop that in there. And I'm going to do a few little bits just to make this a little bit larger so we can actually see it. Let's make it a little bit bigger still. And that's fine for now. And I'm going to add an icon, which is going to be our play button. And let's put that underneath. And let's go search for play and see what we get. That will do. Again, this is not the world's best looking application, but it does show how this API works and how you can use this functionality within your own app. So we need to now add the actions. So actually what I'm going to do before that is to this custom audio player, the dynamic link, I'm going to link it to the parent group's file. That's fine. So now we want this generate button to do something. So let's add a workflow. When this button's pressed, we want to fire off that API. So if I type in get audio, so this is the API that we created, click on that. And now we can see the parameter which is exposed because we deselected private. And we can make this the input. So if I search for script input, that's the name that I gave to the multi-line input. But whatever you name this multi-line input here, that's what you'll search for. So I've got a script input. So we search for that and we've got that input. So essentially taking whatever we've got in here and making it being what we're passed to ElevenLabs. So once we've got that, that's going to run. It's going to go over to ElevenLabs and it's going to get the audio file. Then what we want to do is we want to display data in a pop-up group. The element is going to be our output group because we want to display this output file in the output group. And then we're going to set it as the result from step one. And what's important to do here is to save it in Bubble's storage so that we actually have a local copy of it rather than it just being on ElevenLabs' server. We could give it a name, and if you're doing this within an app, you probably should give it a name. I'm not going to at the moment, but give it a good name that properly describes what it is. And then we're going to do a few last things. We're just going to reset the relevant inputs. And I think that should be all we need for that button. Then for this play button, I'm going to add a workflow. I am going to make it so that we play a custom audio player. And we've only got one audio player in there, so that's going to be the only one. And if you did have other audio players, then selecting this is always a good thing to do as well. So we're only playing one at a time. So I believe that should be it. Let's go ahead and give this a test. So let's preview this page. So let's type in here, never going to give you up, never going to let you down. Let's make that spell properly and let's generate. It's going to take 1 or 2 seconds. It's usually pretty quick. And there we go. Maybe I should add in something that says generated, script generated. But then we can press play and we get...
Never going to give you up. Never going to let you down.
There you go. Pretty dramatic. But we've got our text back. And obviously you can edit which voice that you use. In fact, let's do that quickly. Let's come back over. I'm going to switch from Julian over to Alice. So click on Alice here. Get the ID of Alice. Come back over and go into plugins. Let's find our API call and let's switch this out at the end. So I'm going to just paste that in there. I don't think we need to reinitialize it. I think it should be fine just as it is. We are going to need to reload this page though. And in fact, if I'm going to do that, I might as well add in that little toast. So if I type here toast, talk toasty free. Call this success and say audio generated. Remove that text and let's put this there. So now if we reload this, we should have it in Alice's voice, whatever Alice's voice is. I'm not sure what it is, but I imagine it's a female voice. So let's just go hello there. Just keep it simple. Let's generate that. Then we get our audio generated, and let's play it.
Hello there.
And there we go. And if we wanted the text to stick around here after we've generated it, then we would just remove that reset relevant inputs. But I think that's fine as it is. So there you go. There you have a very basic way in how you can generate good audio using ElevenLabs' API, which is one of the best APIs out there at the moment for text-to-speech. As you can see, we've done the very, very basic. There's a load more that you can do. If you looked into the API reference, you would see there's a load of different parameters you can pass in order to get a load of variations on what you get back. If there's extra functionality that you want me to cover within ElevenLabs, then please do let me know in the comments. Perhaps I'll create an extra video. But hopefully that is a really good intro into how you can use the ElevenLabs API with Bubble to create some really great text-to-speech audio within your Bubble app. Thanks for watching. If you found it useful, then please do give this a like. If you have got any questions, then do leave a comment down below and I'll try to get back to you. And if you like the videos, then please do subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.